Alright, y'all, this is the first episode of the Internet Armchair. Every episode, next, future, preceding, will look differently, but it's gonna be a continuing developing podcast. We still have things coming for you guys, such as the Yap session, such as the Breakthrough podcast episodes. Those will definitely still be coming. But today we have the Internet Armchair, and I'll pretty much explain what it is to you guys. It's where I have guests on and they ask me questions or like topics, and I answer them in whole, in detail, get really like into it, because what I realized is my Yap sessions be like fairly easy and everything comprehensible for me, but I want to make sure that I'm also answering the people that, you know, watch my content anyway. So today we have a guest on, Sato.
Hi y'all. You can't see me. Hold on.
Alright, so the way this will be set up is the guests will ask questions. I will ask questions too. But today it's gonna be a little bit shorter because it's just the introduction episode. But if you want to do any introductions or anything like that, you can. But if not, you can.
Hey y'all, I'm Sato's girlfriend. Y'all can follow me on Ariel Janaya. If you can't spell my name, you can't find me. Yeah. Alright, so the first question I'm gonna ask is, what's an unpopular opinion that you think will get you canceled?
As a content creator, one that I definitely have and that I hold is, we need to stop letting white people like commentate on hip hop and what the culture wants and anything of the sort. Because I promise you, even in the aspect of they grew up in the hood and everything, and they knew what the black experience truly was. And mind you, the hood is not every black experience, but additionally, when you even get to a successful place in music, commentary, or, you know, surveying music, any like of those buzzwords you want to use to be a music reporter, they're gonna look at you as a white figure, and they're gonna put different, you know, aspects or different standards on you than they would for a black commentator. And that can be both negative and positive, but for the culture, and if you're really for the culture, you would know that it's mostly negative. We have people like Roy and Mal just spreading absolute falsehoods and everything, and I feel crazy for siding with the white guy. But it's because the black guy is so cooned out of his mind that we're just stuck with being like, well, Roy is at least not like out of his brain cells dick riding Drake. You know, it's certain things that come with being white in these types of atmospheres that I'm happy that some take the kind of stance on being like, I'm not of the culture, but here's what I observe. And that's the shit that I agree with the most, at least in my opinion, for white commentators for hip hop and rap in general. But we definitely need to move some of these white commentators, like Trap Lord Ross. Why are you, as a white man, sitting in your room depicting graphic hood related topics and news? Like this is what you have your PhD in. You know what I'm saying? Like, I inherently find that wrong. It feels like a Boondocks episode. That nigga feels like a Boondocks episode written and formed into one person. But yeah, that's I think like the biggest unpopular opinion, because everybody's gonna be like, oh, why shouldn't people have a voice in this community? And everyone's always had a voice in this community. But that's the issue, bro. We have rapists and sexual predators that still are rampant in the rap community. And part of the reason for that is because we just allow so many people to just stay. We hear things happening and we just are like, sure. Why is Adam 22 still reporting on black news, bro? Why are we like, what, bro? Even to the point of like, we're allowing these white people to bring on cooned out black individuals. Like, I mean, Charlamagne the God is already a cooned out individual, but he not, you know, the worst out of all of them. But I'm forgetting. No, yeah, he's definitely up there. But I'm forgetting what his name is. Charleston White. He only really got popular because black people gave him a little bit of a platform, and then white people just superseded that all the way to hell and back, bro. Like, it's no reason why he should have more than 15 seconds of fame. But this nigga still consistently, like, gets people on Twitter just talking about bullshit. That's what really kills me more than anything. And I'll keep it a bean stack 100 with that. We allow people to stay in spaces now because they're funny. And that's okay for people that are supposed to be comedians. Some people are just genuinely dumbasses, and we're just like, but it's funny though. That takes away from the intellectual, like, reasoning for it being funny. You know what I'm saying? It's like, being dumb is funny in the satirical way, and it's funny in the slapstick way too. But it's funny when it's performed correctly, responsibly. And I won't even necessarily say responsibly, but it's funny when it's purposeful. Now we just have people being dumbasses and being like, well, I can be a dumbass and never grow and make it, and it works. Who am I to be like, nah, because it'd be working for them. You know what I'm saying? Like, I promise you I would not have the same financial struggles I do today if I started wilding out on everybody, bro. If I started, like, saying all my truths and I just didn't care, or I became a cooned out individual, bro, I could become a Republican grifter so quickly, bro, and just not care. And I would make so much money. I'd be fine. I would be good, bro. I promise you guys would not be having these types of videos. Because I wouldn't care. I wouldn't care. I think that's part of it for me. I don't feel like a lot of people in the culture truly care anymore. I feel like everybody wants to get their money and everybody wants to have their little thing that, like, pops them off. And if they get that little thing, they do not care about anything else. Niggas will 100% put money before the culture every time. And to a certain point, I understand it though. Because we got dumbasses in the culture, you know what I'm saying? And so if I have a dumbass in my demographic and I'm trying to be better for everybody, and there's one dumbass holding me back when I could be making fat stacks, I'm a fucking leave. I understand it. I respect it. Well, I don't respect it, but I understand it. That's the thing. I don't respect it. Yes, and to that extent, this is the reason why I do not fuck with Sexy Red. I feel as though after coming from that shit, after coming from your hood, I'm not saying hood that is cap, but I'm saying hood in the general umbrella term of it. You're saying that you came from that horrible place, and now you're seeing technically a lot better. At least I'll say financially, you're seeing a lot better. In other sense, and you know, mentally, religiously, and that's arguable. But mentally, probably not seeing necessarily the best place because that side of the industry is drugs, club, and that's really, you don't have like a lot of fulfillment after that, bro. And I feel like artists that talk about their fulfillment a lot are like the greats, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, we all bashing J. Cole a lot, but
he's still top 3.
You know what I'm saying? Like, he talks about his fulfillment, he's top 3. Drake, I don't necessarily like the nigga, but he talks about his fulfillment, and God's Plan was one of the biggest songs, if not the biggest song, for like a solid minute, like months, almost a year. I was talking about fulfillment. Fulfillment is not throwing your stank ass coochie on the club ground like it's a bag of ice and trying to make that motherfucker shatter like a glass vase. Stop it. Get some help. Go the fuck back home, bro. I don't know. Get on Minecraft for some little bit of time, bro. Find yourself, bro. Just enjoy your life. Just enjoy being by yourself. And I don't think enough like rap artists really enjoy just being by themselves. I think genuinely people like to say I like being alone, and then try to make that a thing. Like, well, I like being alone, so I like being by myself. You like being alone doesn't mean that you like being by yourself. You just don't like other people, and you also don't like yourself, and that can be true, but that's not good. That don't mean that I'm antisocial, so I'm better than the rest. Motherfucker, you have issues. Everybody got issues, but you got issues, bro. That's another thing. Education is not like pushed as much anymore, but you will learn as you go higher up and just learning about the mind and the psyche that you inherently need other humans. You may not need them as much as the next person. You could be an introvert and everything, but being antisocial will lead you to being a sociopath, and that's being a deviant of the socio norms and, well, the society's norms, and that like isn't necessarily always wrong. But some of those norms are in place for a reason, my nigga. Like, we shouldn't be killing small animals. We should have empathy for others. These are just like normal human things that you don't really get if you don't interact with humans all the time. So you can see like a deer get hit by a truck and be like, that was pretty bad as a normal person. And still, like, inherently the cynical and satirical side of your brain is gonna like chuckle. It's not, you know what I'm saying, the best thing, but it happens, especially with how everything is now and violence is so like mainstream.
Yeah.
That like you become desensitized to it nonetheless. But I will 100% say that it's the difference between that and you going out and you killing animals for sport and you finding the greatest enjoyment of life out of that and you like making that your whole thing. People that like just live in cabins by themselves and just hunt animals and like put them up as trophies are normally sick people. Are normally 99% of the time those niggas are sick and they need to be watched. What I say all that for? Interact with your people, bro. Talk to the people around you. They are not gonna kill you. That'd be the thing, bro. Y'all niggas be thinking like,
how do you know that?
Okay, but how do you know a lot of things?
Exactly.
But you don't know colors until someone tells you what a color is. So you simply are not gonna know who's trying to kill you at all times. I feel like to that point, that's the only reason why at this point in time you should have a gun, because you don't know who really gonna try to do you dirty. What I will say about that is niggas do not need ARs, bro. Niggas do not need 300 round mags, bro. Even though that's a crazy stretch and only Army's really gonna have a basket full of gun ammunition for all that. But I don't see in a realistic world right now where we do not have superpowers. We do not have nothing that is stopping a bullet like that. You know what I'm saying? Unless you really wearing Kevlar around and that motherfucker is heavy. Have y'all ever picked up a Kevlar vest, bro? Joint is heavier than your heaviest butch. Heavier than your heaviest, I don't know, bro. Get Shaniqua from down the block, bro, and she not lifting that motherfucker up, bro. That joint is heavy, bro. You're not walking around every day with Kevlar around, bro. So you don't need to be walking every day with an AR. You don't. Unless and if you feel that dangerous, if you feel like your life is that in danger that you need to do that, get help. That's the sociopath shit I'm talking about. If that's what you feel in your truest heart of hearts, get help.
So would that connect to this new like?
Yeah, I think it would. I think young niggas, in the sense of, how do I say this? I think young niggas in the sense of the term, no. But I think young niggas in the sense of those that actually are crash outs and like off of the smallest things are sociopaths. Because they don't really understand how to defuse and how to step away. And not even just how to step away, to decide like, I don't care. And not in the sense of I don't care, I'm now gonna go murder people, but I don't care in the sense of I don't gotta engage. It's not directly going to end your life. Sometimes I just leave situations, bro. I don't even gotta dislike it. I could just be bored and I'll just leave a situation, and I don't think enough people do that. People have taken the hotbox mentality and used it in their entire life. That you cannot leave the hotbox. Once it starts, you just gotta stay in it, and you just gotta be in the smoke. Like, no, bro, you don't have to live like that. Like, so yeah, I think young niggas, at least those that are genuinely crash outs, are sociopaths.
So this leads. So what experience you've gotten close who haven't like crash out?
It's been a solid amount, I will say. I get
what
on
one
here.
Do you remember vividly?
No, it's a couple I remember vividly. It's a couple. It's one, and I won't say all of the story because I'll explain another one. But I'll say it like this: I vividly remember going back to my car and being like, how much damage would this do to somebody's body if I hit them? If I just full on hit them? If I just like ran into this whole group like bowling pins? How much damage could I realistically do? Realistically, if somehow I angle this perfectly, that all of their necks snap on impact of hitting the ground, am I good? Would somebody like take a picture of my license plate while I'm driving away? Or like, could I really just like hit a strike right now? I ain't the best bowler, but I know how to motherfucking drive.
Maybe in Chicago. I don't know about. You know.
I don't know. In that moment, I had people to like lock me in and be like, you don't have to do all that, and that's where I will say humans are needed. You know what I'm saying? Because when you're in a like mindset like that, when you're like really ready to like just let it all be and just be like, fuck it, end it, bro, end it all. Someone that's looking out and can see like everything that's happened, take an eagle eye view of it without, you know what I'm saying, the anger tinted glasses. Because even if you can observe everything, when you have your emotions and everything, you're not gonna be able to like pry every little bit of emotion out of that. It's not possible. You are gonna have an unconscious bias towards whatever's happening. But one I will say is it was a situation that was happening for a solid minute, and I kept telling this nigga, leave me alone, leave my whole like friend group alone. I don't fuck with you. Like I don't fuck with anything that you embody. None of that, bro. Like you're weird. Get the fuck up out of here. And nigga didn't listen. And I vividly remember that nigga tried to press into the house that I was at, and I put my hand on that nigga's throat and I pushed that nigga back and I said, hold on, I can land a punch actually. This is actually like perfect to land a punch. And right then, nigga started pulling me back and saying I was wilding, bro. And I was like, but I explained. And in hindsight, it was unnecessary. The situation diffused itself. I didn't need to do anything more. If anything, I showed that like I'm fully willing to get physical if that was, you know what I'm saying, what needed to happen.
Mm-hmm.
But it would have looked crazy, you know what I'm saying, for everything else that was happening in that moment and the people that were around and watching, I could have looked insane. So that was, I'll say, my most vivid crash out, because I still remember that feeling and being like, yeah, this can land squarely on you, bro. So that's my most vivid crash out. Okay, a historical figure I'd ask any question.
Don't get yourself canceled.
No. I'm gonna give a fairly reasonable person. I do gotta think about it. So give me your answer. You could give me your answer in the sense of who you would want to speak to, or you could give it in like who you would want me to speak to.
For me, I would say definitely, like, she is very biblical, like Maya Angelou. I just want to pick at that woman for you.
Yeah.
Like, what all happened for you to be writing them poems?
Yeah, and she has like a lot of thoughts, like a whole lot of we're better than this. Mm-hmm. We can conquer this, and like you can go on do some demons. You know what I'm saying? Like, and you still were able to persevere and get through all of that, hardship and nonsense. So that's a solid one. Yeah. It's definitely a solid one.
Person I'd want you to
yeah, Malcolm X would be really solid. Cause I would
podcast too.
Cause I definitely do got a lot of questions, a lot of things to ask. I have a few that probably would get me canceled. But I think the best person would be W.E.B. Du Bois, only because I don't understand how he was able to look at all the nonsense black people were doing and still like see the light and all that. He talked a lot about how, if you really applied yourself, that you could become, better than everybody else, that it was very possible. You had, a way of breaking out of this cycle, this evilness. So that's someone who I'd speak to, because I feel like that's a lot of faith. Man, the black population be having me like, y'all lost. You know what I'm saying?
It's real though.
You know what I'm saying? Like I want his determination to make everybody better.
Yeah. His mindset was for now.
Yeah, definitely.
So that's why he was thinking that in the
yeah. And I'd arguably say people now, our population is not completely negative. It's definitely some positive people that are around and everything. And I'll say it like this. I think if we had more people like W.E.B. Du Bois and Malcolm X speaking now, and they had the same platform as those that are negative, we'd have a different outlook on our demographic. Because I don't think our demographic is as negative as people treat it, and even as negative as like I would treat it necessarily. Because I'd be like, bro, even myself, my grammar sometimes is just down the shutter. But I'll say it like this: if we had more people speaking positively about our demographic that we saw as leading figures, and not these random ass OVO goons, like what was it, like OVO Hubert or some shit? It was some shit like a minute ago, bro. And I was like, why are we looking to him to provide the black dialogue? We know he's not a good person. That's what really kills me. It's these people that we know that aren't good people, and we still put them in this place of they're in the pulpit and they should be speaking about black trauma and black issues. Like, simply put, sometimes I'm not trying to hear Joe Budden and Charlamagne the God speak about rap topics. Of course, in that same breath, I don't want to hear Vlad TV. You know what I'm saying? But we need more. I won't necessarily say MLK, because I have a very controversial opinion about MLK, that some of his thoughts and definitely how his message was perceived. And this not necessarily just on him, because white people definitely did this.
Yeah.
But they definitely made his message more pacifistic than it truly was. And I don't like that, but it didn't help that he was already pacifistic in nature. So it just kind of like steamrolled and continued the idea of, you know, black people should be able to take all this pain and all this suffering, and we should be better because of it, and we should come together, and we should not let this racism and prejudice like bring us down. To a certain extent, yeah. But now it's made for an atmosphere where we're supposed to be called hard R's and still be going through hate crimes, and we're supposed to be like, no, we cannot, you know, stoop down to their level. Peaceful protests, we march on the streets. Our peaceful protests are being used against us, because we got CIA and deep racist individuals who are joining our protests, and I'll say like this, who are joining our protests and lighting buildings on fire and making us look crazy. People, niggas that are joining these issues and these topics for the wrong reasons, and 110% trying to get their like little bit of money and grift off of this. Like, we had people, I think it was either in South America or Australia or something, and they were like the founders, quote unquote, of BLM, in the sense of like, that's what I'm saying. No, that's exactly what I'm saying. In the sense of like the word and all the fundraising and everything. So all that money got sent to these people, but to a certain extent, why were you sending money to a camp that's called Black Lives Matter? And they haven't really said what they're gonna do with this money it's just you to a certain extent, you were a dumbass for giving them money, because I ain't gonna lie, I would much rather a white person give Wes Moore, the governor for Maryland, you know what I'm saying, black governor, give him 70 grand and let him allocate those funds correctly, rather than, bro, some startup niggas that we don't really know like that, bro. Like, that we have no real recollection of. You know what I'm saying? Like, these people really could be whoever and wherever, and they have a great message, and now we're sending them money. Look, they could be buying weed. And who am I to say no? You know what I'm saying? I gave them the money. That's like when someone tells you that they're gonna give you something or such and such online, and they're like, oh yeah, Cash App. You do not know this person, you're not close with this person, none of that. They're gonna take the money, bro, and they're gonna immediately stop responding, bro, and you're gonna be looking dumb as hell when you call Cash App, and they're like, but we can't do anything. Exactly. We even warned you before sending it.
That's why, honestly, it's like, send the product first, and then I'll send it.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. Or even, I think people take for granted, like, reading is very fundamental.
Oh, definitely.
And I don't think people
Yeah.
still understand that term to this day.
People view reading now as a negative, and it's a funny joke to be like, I'm not trying to read all that,
Yeah.
but it's definitely regressed the people as a whole, not just black people, but everybody. Because now it's like funny. Now it's a thing to be like, I'm not gonna read it. It's now a thing to be like, my source, I made it up. But we can just say these things and whatever your opinion as a fact, as a statement, and niggas gotta just take it. Because everybody got free speech, but nobody got the freedom to go learn and back up this shit. Nobody got the freedom to be like, nah, that's actually wrong. So in that sense, I feel as though reading is fundamental, but we really gotta like emphasize learning about what you're reading about, because it's also be reading whatever. We got Google AI now making prompts out of whatever it gathers. It's not saying it's right necessarily. I mean, it's saying that it's right according to everything that it knows, but it don't know everything because it's not humans in the sense of we don't know everything. It's learning from us. Yes, it may have more collective knowledge, but recently I saw a Twitter post. I hate Twitter. I saw a Twitter post about a woman winning her, like, not winning, but she got her PhD in like sense of smell pretty much, and like how that affects your mind. And people were like, why would you ever need this? Yada yada. It's for like certain things. Like people were comparing it to the movie Parasite, and how when the father of the poor family was around the father of the rich family, the rich guy was like, bro, you stink. And he was like, all poor people smell like that. And how he associated his chauffeur with poverty. Give a fuck that he was driving him around and taking care of his wife. He could have been cracking his wife for all he knew, but it was a sense of smell being like, you're less than me. To the point where like even when a murder happened in front of him, he was like, damn, but you stink. Imagine how crazy it is and how like delusional. Now you gotta watch Parasite. If you haven't watched it, you gotta watch Parasite. Imagine being so delusional and so like deranged and lost in pride and richness that you just saw someone die and you're trying to stop a murder and you do this. And you're like, that motherfucker stink though. Like, bro. So I feel like to that extent, you know what I'm saying? How'd I get there? Let me land. The PhD is important because we now have reasoning and logic and someone who really studied that field to explain to us, okay, why do we have these emotions, these thoughts? If we get rid of all that, it's so many things that fall with that. We wouldn't have, you know, the idea and the understanding and everything of accents and slang and jargon if we didn't have people literally decoding and writing down different ways that we've spoken through decades. And how do we get to that? We get to real weird people that be all up in your mouth trying to figure out how you make different sounds. And so inherently, from the person that is just walking around on the street, I gotta go get to my 9 to 5 real quick, get off, go to the club, get lit. Whatever demographic that is, I'm talking rich, poor, white, black, disabled, able-bodied. Doesn't matter. If that's what you do, then like you don't know anything else. You don't. There's no other like scope, lens, nothing. It's nothing else because that's all you know. You don't know what you don't know.
Alright, so last question is, what's something that you took ever since and it's getting closer to your birthday? What's something that 21-year-old Dedrick can tell now 22-year-old?
It's all in your mind. Nah, a lot of it is like really enhanced by your brain. If you can tell yourself that you're okay, and not just that, you genuinely follow through with it, that's the first step. That's just the first step, but it's a massive step. and you lifted your leg, when you broke you broke every bone in your hip, your ankle, femur, all of that, it's gone. And you still, my bad for all the hiccups, good lord. But you still were able to like make that step, then like applaud yourself, reward yourself, and continue pushing. Because that's really just the first step. But getting over that is very, very, impactful. And to reward yourself and to think positively of yourself when you're able to like still make that first step. Not everyone can, like genuinely not everyone can. So yeah, I think that'd be the biggest thing. Just like know that you're doing good and stay determined. Like, what do you think is your as the interviewer, what do you think was your biggest lesson of 2024?
It's all gonna pay off. Like, and that's something that I used to hate, like my parents telling me, keep pushing. It's like, I'm tired. Like, I want to give up now. I want 100 bands today.
Yeah.
And not work towards that.
Yeah.
But like, honestly, I know like eventually tomorrow I'm gonna have that 100 bands.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have that.
It's gonna work out. It's gonna like pay off 100%. But yeah, that's real. Thank you for being the first guest for the Internet Armchair. Alright, I'll see you. I'm not gonna call y'all what I normally call y'all. I'm gonna think of a new topic, a new concept to call y'all. But right now, y'all the microphones and y'all the headphones. So for y'all headphone niggas out there, I will see y'all.